So unfortunately, we left this guy in the lurch last week. Skip, you got to come to Brooklyn if you want to be on every single show. He had some new babies introduced into the world today. Skip Anderson, our special correspondent. First of all, tell us about the new babies that you helped deliver this morning.
Well, we had a nice set of Hampshire twins born at North Dakota State University. That is my employer, where I am the shepherd of over 500 sheep for the university and the College of Agriculture.
My guy. This is all about the babies today, and thank you for sharing those photos with us. Skip is back for another edition of Tackle or Trade. Sorry we left you last week, Skip, but we're glad to have you back. So you want to just jump into it and do the coin flip?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, you're going to call it today.
Okay. Tails never fails.
It's heads.
Until it does.
John is the winner. All right, guys. So this week with the Super Bowl coming up, we are going to have some Super Bowl focused questions this week. Nice. So we're going to pick your brain, get inside your heads, and see what you think about this. So, John, you're up. Over the years, there's been some fantastic Super Bowl commercials. Which one has been your favorite or most memorable? You want to tackle that or trade that?
I'm going to trade it.
All right, Joe, what do you got?
You know what I used to love? The Bud Bowl. Remember, like the Budweiser, they would have like the game between the light beer and the regular Bud. Like that would be, in a lot of years there was a blowout in the actual Super Bowl. So I'd be waiting until the third quarter commercials to see what happened in the latest Bud Bowl clip. So yeah, I miss those. They should bring those back. Am I wrong on that?
No, not at all.
Well, you're
those
right.
Are great.
Is that what started you drinking?
What?
Is that what started you down the path of drinking?
Yes. Yeah. Those were like when I was like 8 or 9 years old. So yeah, no, not right. Not quite. Maybe it planted the seed. This is water, by the way.
All right, John. So your question is, if you're booking the talent for the next halftime show, who is your headliners to play the halftime show at the next Super Bowl?
Wow. And it can't be Joe Bianca or Patty Wolf. It's got to be like real talent. I'm a sucker for one of my favorite bands of all time, the Eagles. That's the band, not the team. And I would love if the remaining members would be able to come back and play, some of the oldies and goodies of Don Henley and that group. I was going to say Aerosmith, who is my all-time favorite band, but they've already done, one. And I actually saw Aerosmith a couple of years ago. We went to Atlantic City and watched them, and it was probably the 10th or 11th show I've seen of Aerosmith, and I was hugely disappointed. I think that it is past. They are past their prime, and the better days are behind them. So I would go with the Eagles, and with a little hell freezes over again, refreezes, tribute.
Sounds good. I like it.
Aging yourself, John.
All right, Joe, this one's coming to you. You can tackle this one or trade this one. Let's do a little Super Bowl horse-focused one. Who was a better horse, 49er or Chief Bearheart?
Oh, that's very, very clever.
Great. That's cute.
Oh, they're a little before my time. I appreciate the question, but I'm going to pass it to John.
Oh, easily 49er. I was a huge 49er fan. As a matter of fact, I still look for pedigrees that have 49er in them because there aren't that many around. But he was, in my impressionable years, 49er was one of the top horses that I can remember running. And he actually ran at Monmouth. I think he came out of his 2-year-old, if I remember correctly, he came out of his 2-year-old year, and they ran him in an allowance race at Monmouth, and it blew my mind just how impressive of a horse he was. So I would say 49er was easily one of my all-time favorite horses.
All right. Very good. Very good. All right, Joe, here's your question. The Super Bowl's on CBS this year. We're replacing Tony Romo with a current race caller to call the game with Jim Nantz. Who are you putting in the booth?
Well, first, I'm just glad we're getting Romo out of there because he's the most annoying color commentator I've ever heard in my life. I can do a decent Romo impression, I think, at some point down the road. You know who I think is first of all, I would say Tom Durkin, just because he's funny, he's good off the cuff,
Mm-hmm.
he can turn a phrase, so I like him. You know who's super underrated? I'm glad he's gotten like a bigger profile job is Tony Kalo. Shout out to Tony Kalo. He used to be the Finger Lakes guy. He's the one that goes, and there they go when they start the race. And he was like kind of absent for a little while. He did Golden Gate, and now he's at Turfway. So it's nice to hear him there. I like his voice. It's just one of those voices that stuck with me. But yeah, overall, I'd say TD because Durkin he's just so knowledgeable and so funny. So yeah, please get Romo out of here. Romo's like it's like someone let like a 6-year-old in the booth, in like a grown-up suit. And he's just like, Jim, I don't know about this one, Jim. What are we gonna do here? Watch, Jim. It's so obnoxious and grating. Like I might have to watch the Super Bowl on mute just because of that. You set me up for that one, Skip.
All right. Well, the one cool thing is Tackle or Trade has brought out everyone can do an impression of somebody. So we've discovered some talent. Talent discovery is what we've done here on the show.
I think that was the first non-Muppet impression that we've done.
That's right.
Maybe he is a Muppet. I don't know.
And you garnered that. You dug that out better than a 49er.
All right. You got one more for us, Skip?
All right. We're just going to go with this one. Give us your Super Bowl predictions, both of you. What's the score? We'll record this. We'll see who's closer. We'll see who's right. We'll make a game out of it.
Okay. John, you want to go first?
I will go first. I'm going to say the 49ers 30. The Kansas City Chiefs 26.
I'm going to go Chiefs 27, Niners 25.
All right.
So I guess I don't know. What's the over under for this game? I feel like we're both.
I think it's 48. Over here. I think it's 48 or somewhere around there. And I think the Niners are favored by 1.5.
2.5 now.
2.5 now.
That's to me is shocking. Like to have Brock Purdy be favored over Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
Like it seems like free money to me.
Well, we'll see
next week when I'm homeless because I lost all my money.
Because you lost all your money. Hey, and Skip, just like so you know that my memory is not as wacky as I think. Yeah, when 49er ran in the Kentucky Derby and then the Preakness, and then they gave him all of 6 weeks off and ran him in an allowance race at Monmouth, and then 2 weeks later ran him in the Haskell, which he won. 4 weeks later, he ran in the Travers, which he won. And 4 weeks later, he ran in the Woodward and then ran 2 other races after that. I mean, that's when iron horses were really iron horses. I mean, the horse was in the middle of his Triple Crown campaign. And oh, by the way, we're gonna bypass the Belmont because we want to run in not 1 but 2 races at Monmouth Park before the Woodward and the Naira Mile. That's when I'm reminiscing and it's romantic, but that's when horses were horses.
Nice.
Yep.
Interesting. Though I'll tell you, Chief.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chief Bearhart, he had a heck of a career. If you look him up, $3.3 million in earnings, 2-time Horse of the Year on grass.
He did. No, that was out of all the questions you've asked us so far, that was my favorite. That was really that was showing the Skip Anderson, Mensa-esque knowledge that we've come to know and love over the years.
The depth of our guy. Skip, we got to get your prediction before we wrap up. What do you see happen on Sunday?
Can both teams lose?
Yeah, me too, man. Go Meteor.
Meteor.
If I had to pick, I want to see the Niners win. Give me the Niners 31-24.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a great story, Mr. Irrelevant, to go win the Super Bowl.
Correct.
I can already picture like Mark Wahlberg starring in that movie like 10 years from now, something like that.
Sounds good.
Anyway, any big plans for the game, guys?
No, not really.
Me neither.
No, not at all. I'm just gonna fry up some or cook up some pigs in a blanket and maybe some wings because I'm a bachelor for the rest of this weekend. So,
nice.
So I'm gonna sit there in my expandable pajama bottoms and my Giants, my stained Giants uniform. The jersey's stained not because I spilled food on it, but it's all the tears that I've emoted over the past 10 years on it. But anyway, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing.
Good deal.
Yep.
How about you, Joe?
No, low key. I don't know. Maybe I'll go to a friend's house or something. But yeah, it just doesn't really get me going this year's Super Bowl, unfortunately. But I mean, I say that, and then like by April, I'll be like, please give me some football.
I know, right? That is the truth. That is especially because by April the Mets will be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. So we'll be jonesing for some football.
Dead ass, right. All right, Skip. Thank you for jumping on. Sorry to leave you last week, but appreciate the questions. It's always a great time.
Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks for having me. And if you listeners want to get in on the conversation, DM me those questions at Baba Acres, and we'll stump John and Joe with tackle or trade.